Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and today is the, let me think, the 14th of January 2022. So thank you very much for joining me. Today what I'd like to do, and I've got to think of a name for it now, I guess I could call it the double tentfold aperture card. There we go. And the reason it's called that is because it's got kind of a double, if you can see there, it's got like a double tent fold in there. So when it stands, you can see the aperture just there, and also obviously at the back as well. So this was one that I got an idea from Iced Images. She did it in a totally different shape and obviously different papers, but so, you know, kudos to her. She did a very, very good job. I'd like to show you how to do it. It really is quite an easy card to do, but there are little bits and pieces there that you've got to be a little bit careful how you cut them through your die cutting machine. So I haven't done all the die cutting like I normally do, because although I will take that out of the actual video, I do need to let you see how I've set the die cutting up. So let's get in. Let's move along, and I'll firstly go through what you need. First off, I have used, now these arrived, let me just get some card or paper or something so you can see them. These actually arrived in the post yesterday, I think it was, and normally I get, you know, half a dozen or 10 so that I can put them on the website, but this time I obviously only put one. But they're a great, they're really good sentiments, really good sizes. So yeah, so that one's mine. If anybody wants some, let me know and I'll grab some more. But yeah, so they're from a Chinese supplier. You also will need nested dies. Now they don't have to be oval, they can be round, they can be square, they can be hexagonal, they can be whatever shape you want. I'm actually working on the oval ones, and I'm pretty happy with the results so far. So you will need nested dies. I've also done for decoration on, and although I haven't decorated this because this is only my prototype, so I didn't really finish it and didn't do everything on it, but I have done some leaves, and you can see I think I've done 2 sets of those, because I'm not quite sure whether I'll use them all yet, but I do need them for this. I've also using, these are the 2 sizes. Now the reason I need 2 sizes of these is the big one and the little one. They are 2 sizes that actually in your pack you'll have a bigger one, then you'll have the smaller one. Now the smaller one is the one that we're going to use to cut out all of our apertures. The bigger one was just used simply to make a frame, because what I'm going to do with this one, as I said, I'm decorating a little bit better, so I'm actually going to put a frame around there. So that's how you do, that's what you needed for that. And I will quickly talk through how I've done the frame when I come to that part. My sentiment, I showed you the actual stamps. I've actually heat embossed that, and I've put some mounting tape on the back, and I've just cut some more gold out. I'm not going to give you a measurement for that because it depends on what sentiment you actually use. So I'm also going to use just a few tiny little, I don't know whether I'm going to use the green leaves, but I'm going to use just maybe 3 closed up roses. So I'll pop those there. Now as far as your cardstock is concerned, I'll pop these all over here. Let me go through those with you. Now my base card I'm going to actually have as mirrorballed, because I would just like to see that all around here is all mirrorballed. So I think that is going to look really, really nice. So the size that you need is going to be 12 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so there's your 6 inch, and along your 12-inch side you then need to score at 6 inches. That is going to be your base card, and then you fold that over and make it a 6 by 6 card. Okay, and I hope that's not glaring too much up at you. So okay, so that's the first part. The part inside, which is this piece here, okay, you will need to start off with a 11" by 5.5" piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a couple of ovals out of that. And along this particular side, along the 11" side, you will need to score at 5.5 inches. So it will give you a 5.5" card base. Now I've done this with a slightly thinner card. I think this is only 210 or maybe 250. It's not that, it doesn't need to be that heavy. I've just put some kisses and hugs in there because the sentiment that I've used is congratulations to you. So I just wanted it to be, it can be used for anything then. If you wanted to use it for a birthday, you could. So I just thought that that would be the best part to do. So there's that one there. You also will need a piece of pattern paper. And this is going to be 5.5 by 5.5, and that is going to be stuck onto the front of your card. Oh goodness, I think I've cut that the wrong size. So that one is actually the wrong size. So I'm just going to have a little look. And I'm going to cut another piece because it actually should be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut another piece for this. So that will now go on the front just there with our normal 1/8 of an inch border. So I'll pop that in there. That's going to go there. You'll also need a piece that is going to be your cutout just here, and I'm using this particular paper here, and this one I've got at 4 inches by about 5 1/4 inches, but that will depend on what you are, what shape and what size of a aperture you're cutting out. So if you're using a bigger aperture here or a smaller aperture, that will change. But what it has to be is it has to be big enough to actually fit that, because that is what's going to go there. Okay, so we'll cut that one out later. And I think that's probably about all of the pieces that I need to go through with you. I'll just quickly run through how to make this, these frames. You get 2 of your dies and you put them one inside the other. They're 2 coming down in size. There's one larger one and one smaller one. I tend to stick them together, put them on, run them through the die cutting machine, and that is how you get your beautiful frames. So I don't need the big one now. I only need the smaller one of the 2. So I'm going to pop that one back in my packet here. Okay, so now we can get started. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that this is stuck on here. Now, because I'm using mirror card, I am actually going to be using both glue and also tape, because it's really important that it sticks well. And of course, you don't normally use just glue on that. So I think I've got a thick one here somewhere. So I'm going to use quite a lot of double-sided tape on this, because I don't want it, because I've got to cut the aperture, I don't want it coming out. Okay, so normally I would never use that much tape, but because it is going on here, and I've got to cut it out, that's why I've used so much tape. So I'm going to take a couple of these off, and I'm going to position it first, and then I'll be able to take the other ones off. So I'm going to work from the bottom because that hasn't got the tape taken off, and just make sure that I've got a nice even border. Okay, then you can stick the top part down, and then you can lift that up and take the other ones off. Okay, so that one's now stuck on. If you're not sticking on mirror board and you're just sticking on white or normal cardstock, you don't need to use the tape if you don't want to. I would suggest that possibly you use the tape around the side, but then in the center maybe use glue. But it does need to be stuck on very, very securely. Right, now what we now need to do is we now need to cut through all 3 of these. Now this is not going to be happening straight away. There will be, I'll do one bit here, and that will probably go through these first 2, and then the second one I'll have to do separately. Now this is a really important part, because when I did this last time, and I'm going to totally admit to my mistake, when I did this last time, I actually forgot to leave the gap. Now, as you see here, this is actually still attached just here. Okay, so you'll see a slight line there, and unfortunately there's not much you can do about that, but it doesn't really take away from the card. So what we now need to do is we now need to position our card, keeping it closed. We now need to position our card, and what we want to do is we want to make it so that, I'll move it down a little bit, so that our top plate doesn't come over, just get them straight, so that our top plate there does not come over the bottom of that die. Okay, now that is really important because it's still got to remain attached. Okay, so as you can see, it hasn't cut out this final one here. Pretty certain it's cut out all of that, which is what I wanted. So I'll take this tape off, being very, very careful to make sure it does not take any of my pattern off. So this is just washi tape. And there we go. So as you can see there, you might be able to see there is a slight line across there. Not a lot we can do about it, but yeah. So that one's cut out perfectly. Okay. Next one we need to do is this one, and we've got to be careful again, because we want to make sure that we don't cut. Now you can put that down there, but you'll see that line down there is actually where we've got to put the top plate so that we don't cut the whole part out. So don't particularly, I'm going to stick the die down actually, even though my plates have warped quite a bit, so I'll pop that there, that there. Okay, so this is where my top plate has got to be placed. Okay, so you can still see the same amount of the die that you had before, and that line that the die has made, or the machine has made, is actually quite good for lining it up. Okay, so if we take this one off now, okay, and there we have it. Okay, so what we've got now is we've got that one, and we've got that one, and as you can see, that one is still not quite through, but with a little bit of help from a blade, and I'll find one here in a moment. Okay, so it's almost through, it's hanging by a thread, but I'm just going to, as you can see, it was that easy, and it's only because it's mirror card that it's done that. Okay, so just go around very, very, very gently, and you can see. So now that one's free and that one's free. Okay, next what we need to do is we now need to cut the pattern paper just here, and we use the same die for that. So I'll pop that there. And there we go. That piece is going to stick in there. That can go in the bin. And I need that, I think, one more time. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick that one down in a moment, but then we need to do this inside piece, which is this piece just here. Okay, so I'll go through that with you in a moment. Before I do that, I am actually going to stick this piece down so it's nice and dry. As you can see, what I'm doing is with the glue, I'm making sure that that is a perfect fit. It's from the same die, so it will be, but you do need it to be the perfect fit. So there we go. So that's the inside of the outside, sorry, of our card. What we now need to do is we now need to work on the inside, and this is where we need the die cutting machine again. And as you can see, whereas down the bottom here, we didn't actually cut through right the way through, we're going to do the same with the top part here. Okay, so what we now need to do is we now need to get our card and our there we go, our die, and we need to place it on the card, and we are going to, let me just check to see where yep, that's not too bad. So I'm going to pop that through the machine again. Right, so as you can see, we've got that bit up there that hasn't been cut. That is on that fold. We now need to take the rest of it away. And that can go in the bin. And once again, I've finished with that now, so that can go away as well. Right, and that, I think, is all the die cutting we've got to do. So, couldn't find my card. There it is. So far what we've got is we've got these two flappy bits here. Okay, so now what we need to do is we now need, and make sure you do this the right way if you have pre-stamped. As you can see, I have pre-stamped and I've made it very generic, but make sure that that is on that side, okay, because you don't want that, the last thing you want to do is to have it up there by mistake. So what we now need to do is we now need to stick that onto here. Next, we need to stick that onto there, and that is very simple. All we need to do is to glue this part and then fold the card over on itself, and that will glue in the right spot. Okay, so we then just pop it down there, wait for it to dry, and there we have our card. And as you can see, there we go. As you can see, it's got the double tent fold in there, and now all it is a case of decorating it. So what I've done is, as I showed you before, I actually have heat embossed Congrats to You. I've got a little bit of the gold because I wanted it to match, and I'm going to use some mounting tape and pop that on there. So, and I'm somewhere going to position that. I don't know, I think I like it on an angle, actually, just a slight angle. So I think I'll do that there. And I'm going to, one thing I haven't done is I haven't put my frame on. And you can see that really does make it stand out. So I'm going to have to be very careful how I do it. I would have done that as I should have done that as pretty much as soon as I'd stuck that on, but okay, so there's my frame. I'm now going to go ahead and pop my congrats to you, and I'm going to use these down here somewhere. So bear with me. I'm going to speed up while I do this so that you don't have to watch me do it. I guess this could be used as a wedding card, an engagement card. It could be used for anything you want. It's a very generic one. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you like it. That's my prototype. And this is my actual card. And as you can see, it goes through at the back and it goes through at the front. So, and you've still got room in there to write your message. If you wanted a bigger sentiment there, you could. But I really like that. I think that's actually quite pretty and very simple, very stylish. If you've enjoyed the video today, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because that really, really helps me out. I'd like to thank you for joining me. If you're not a member of my Facebook page, please go on over to Aussie Cards and Crafts. We'd love to have you there. Also, please check out my web store. My web store is www.aussiecardsandcrafts.com.au. In the coming weeks, I'm hoping to have a brand new range there, which is going to be fantastic. It's going to incorporate a lot of other things, so keep your eye on it, because it's really going to be coming up and get up and going. So okay, thank you for joining me once again. Until I see you next time, or until you see me next time, happy crafting. Thank you.